bigcal and welcome to my world. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a game that has haunted me since my childhood. I'm going to be looking at Croc, Legend of the Gobbos on the Sony PlayStation. God help me. Developed by Argonaut Software and published by Fox Interactive, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos was an early 3D platformer released in 1997 on PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, PC, and then a Game Boy Color port 3 years later for whatever reason. Back when I was just little Cal, me and my brother used to have to share games consoles. We grew up with a NES, then we got a SNES, but come 1997, my parents decided we could have our very own consoles. And in 1997, the only choices really was the N64 or this new console called the PlayStation. The Sega Saturn wasn't even contemplated. Did anybody own that system? Yeah. So the Nintendo fanboy in me obviously leaned towards the Nintendo 64. Wonderful console, but it was rather expensive at the time, and the games were very expensive as well. So my parents sort of nudged me in the direction of this new console, the Sony PlayStation. Now, I'd never heard of the PlayStation at the time, they'd never made any other consoles before this. Sony, I just thought, did TVs and VCR players at the time. But here they are with a CD-based console. It was cheaper for starters, and the games were cheaper, which meant I could get more for my money. More games to open and play on Christmas Day? Yeah, little me was sold. So, in the meantime, Christmas 1997, I was getting the PS1, but in November of 1997, my brother bought the N64 as part of his birthday. And the game that he got that we all played, Super Mario 64. And like pretty much everyone back then, our minds were blown. It was fantastic, this huge open world 3D platformer with Mario where we could run around wherever we wanted and do all these different tasks. Wow. So while we were playing that and I was waiting for the PlayStation, I was checking out PlayStation magazines to see what games were coming out, what were out, and what I would want for Christmas with the console. Because getting a console with like 3 packing games was pretty much the norm at the time. So I wanted to see which bundle I wanted. And there it was. One game stood out more than the others. It was touted at the time as the Super Mario 64 of the PlayStation. Now, I'm just a kid. Super Mario 64, but on the PlayStation? I'm getting a PlayStation. I want a game like Super Mario 64, and this is it. I need this game. I need it. It was, of course, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. Come Christmas morning, I'm all excited about to open up my PlayStation 1, the bundle, and get the games. My parents, however, let me down as quickly as possible before I opened it, and let me know that the bundle with Croc, Legend of the Gobbos was unfortunately out of stock. But don't worry, I will get some money for Christmas from other members of family, and I'll be able to buy the game when it comes back in stock on its own. So, okay, that was fine. I opened up, there was Twisted Metal 2 World Tour, one of my all-time favourite games, Destruction Derby 2, and a third game that I can't remember. I had a ton of fun with my PlayStation at Christmas. Come January, Croc is back in stock. I have money, I pick it up. And finally, in my possession, I have, for the PlayStation 1, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. Croc as shit, more like. I don't remember when I was more disappointed. When I found out at Christmas that I wouldn't be getting Croc, or in January, when I actually got Croc. The game starts off quite good, I'll give it that. For a very early PS1 game and early 3D platformer, the graphics actually hold up rather well. Everything is bright and colourful, almost like it was a Nintendo game. The soundtrack is also pretty great, with tons of catchy themes, most of them being used over and over, but changed ever so slightly to fit the themes of the level, be they ice, underground or lava, etc. The story sees the Gobbos living happily and then finding a basket in a river with a baby crocodile in it. They raise him and he grows to be Croc. Years later, the evil Baron Dante shows up and imprisons the Gobbos because who the fuck knows. Croc escapes thanks to help from the Gobbo King, and now he must set about rescuing his friends and stopping Baron. It's a 3D platformer, so let's face it, but we don't need a masterpiece story, do we? And so we begin, level 1-1. It's bright, it's colourful, and the music is great. There end the positives. Controlling Croc is a bitch. He can move forward just fine, but turning is a huge problem. He can't just turn around straight away like in other games. Oh no, that would be too easy. Instead, you have a large turning circle, which typically makes you miss anything you were trying to turn into, such as a collectible. You can stop and turn, but that is so slow and awkward. It's just awful. Jumping is probably the best part of the controls as, well, it works. That's all there is to say about it. If you hit the jump button twice, instead of a double jump you do a butt drop, allowing you to break crates open. Similar to Gex, the attack button spins you around for a tail attack, but holy crap is it bad here. There seems to be a delay, which typically results in you getting hit. That, and you can never quite tell just how close to an enemy you are. I had a lot of problems either thinking I was close enough, but ended up missing, or thinking I was too far away and getting so close I would take a hit. This was especially problematic during the second boss fight. As you go around jumping and smashing crates, you are trying to collect gems. They act like rings in Sonic, letting you take a hit as long as you have some on you. At the end of a level, any gems you still have will be added to a total, and every 100 will get you an extra life. There are also coloured gems in each level, 5 in total, which are needed to unlock a special door, which will contain a Gobbo. Each level has a number of Gobbos for you to collect. Sometimes they're just standing around, sometimes they're in crates, sometimes they're in cages which require a key. There are 5 worlds in total, each with 2 boss fights. Collecting every Gobbo in every level is required to gain access to the true final boss fight. And that pretty much covers the game. I did not finish this game. In fact, I played a total of 40 minutes. That includes loading up the game, waiting for any other loading screens and watching any cutscenes. It just isn't good. It's so boring. I mean, you look at Super Mario 64 and how its levels were, how they were designed and how fun they were to play. And then you look at Croc and all the levels pretty much just look the same, maybe with a colour palette change here and there for fire or ice. You'll just have an area to walk around, a couple of crates to smash, maybe an enemy or two to attempt to hit, some collectibles, a couple of platforms. Every now and then you'll go through a door to a new section, which is more of the same, or you'll go down a well, which is the exact same, only underground. And I just got tired of it. I got to the final boss in World 1, the second boss in the game, and I just had so many problems with those awful controls trying to hit him that I just gave up. I got a game over and decided, I don't want to play this game anymore. I have no interest in it. It was terrible when I was a kid, I tried playing it now and it is still terrible. I did, however, make use of the password system the game has. I entered a few in and tried out different levels later in the game to see if things got better. They didn't. Levels still look the same and it is just as boring. So let's recap. Croc, the Legend of the Gobbos. Looks very nice. Visually, can't complain, it holds up rather well, it's all colourful, the graphics are good. The sound is really good, so good I went online and downloaded the soundtrack. It is fun to listen to. But that's where all the positives end. The controls are awful. There were issues with the camera and with how close and far away from enemies you are. You can't really tell. The fact that there's a delay on the hit attack, which just screws up even more. All the levels look identical and are boring as hell to play. There is just no fun to be had here whatsoever. I can't believe that there was actually a sequel to Croc. My only assumption is that so many gullible kids like myself, saw that it was heralded as the next, Super Mario 64, but on PlayStation, that we all bought it. It sold well, so they thought, hey, let's make another one. But there's never been a third game because nobody liked the first one. Nobody probably bought the second one despite the first one being financially successful, and there died the franchise of Croc. I suppose I better score this one, and I give it a grand total of 20 out of 100. 20. 10 for the visuals, 10 for the sound. And that is all it's going to get. So, I'm bigcal, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.